News we are breaking right now. It was supposed to be the Congress's pitch to the Aam Aadmi about its policies like FDI in retail, but Rahul Gandhi played the Kargil card at the rally organized by his party at Delhi's Ram Leela Maidan. In fact, he stirred up a fresh controversy when he said that when the Kargil invasion took place, when the Kargil conflict took place, the Congress was in the opposition, yet they supported the ruling NDA. But he also said that the BJP's nature is that of a disruptive opposition, and even when they know that a policy is good for the country, they want to oppose it only for the sake of opposing it. Rahul Gandhi picking up another fresh card, throwing another fresh card at the BJP, saying that when it comes to issues of national interest, like what happened during the Kargil conflict, the Congress makes sure that even if it is in the opposition, it supports the ruling dispensation, something that is not expected of the BJP. It never happens from the BJP.
Did they oblige the NDA by supporting us in Kargil? That's the duty of every patriotic citizen, to support country's armed forces and country's government at the time of a war. So that's not an obligation on NDA or in any you can say something very special about us.
In fact, BJP correspondent Atul Srivastav now joins us on the phone line. It's an ill-advised remark. That's what the BJP is saying, because Rahul Gandhi is trying to compare policies by the UPA government like FDI and retail to something that concerns national interest like the Kargil conflict, Atish. Atish, can you hear me? Seem to have a problem with the line with Atul Srivastav. We'll try and get back to him in just a bit. But Murli Manohar Joshi, the first reaction from him has already come from the BJP, which has lashed out at Rahul Gandhi, asking whether the Congress did the country a favor by backing the armed forces, the country, the government during the time of a national crisis, a crisis of the nature of the Kargil conflict. Remember, that was the time when the Congress was in opposition. It was the NDA which was ruling dispensation at the time of the Kargil conflict. Rahul Gandhi today spoke about it at the Congress rally in Ram Leela Maidan, and a massive row has already started over it. People are questioning whether it is fair to compare the Kargil conflict with the kind of flak that the Congress is facing for its own economic policy, its own economic reforms, which will affect thousands of people across the country. Even ex-servicemen have said that politics should not be played over such a sensitive issue like national security. When it was the Kargil conflict, it was ultimately about national security. It wasn't about politics, and to draw parallels between two such disparate things is unfair and would only politicize issues of national security. That's the news that we're breaking at this moment. In fact, Rahul Gandhi at the Ram Leela Maidan has said that when the Congress was in opposition during the Kargil invasion by Pakistan, the Congress stood in support of the NDA government of the time. A furore has already started. The BJP has said, did the Congress do a favor to the government or the country by standing by the government on the decision taken on Kargil? Ex-servicemen also livid, asking why should such a sensitive issue be politicized. In fact, let's bring to you exactly what was it that Rahul Gandhi said, which has already started such a storm.
कारगिल की लड़ाई हुई, हम सब खड़े हो गए, समर्थन दिया, एक साथ खड़े हुए, वाजपेयी जी को कहा देखिए आप करिए जो करना है, हम खड़े हैं आपके साथ। देश का फायदा होता है, कांग्रेस पार्टी खड़ी होती है, चाहे हमारी सरकार हो ना हो।
Founder of AmaraCongress.com, Sanjay Jha, joins us now on the phone line from Mumbai. Sanjay Jha, do you think it's a fair parallel talking about the Kargil conflict and policies by the UPA government, because one concerns national security and the other is a purely economic move?
Meghna, first and foremost, I think today's speech given by Rahul Gandhi and Mrs. Gandhi and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has sent out a clear and categorical message that the UPA government means serious business in improving the lot of the common man, removing corruption, getting about solving all systemic deficiencies.
Sanjay, all of that is fine. I want to ask you specifically about the comment made by Rahul Gandhi about the Kargil war.
Environment, thanks to the BJP, although the party was not mentioned. I'm just coming to that. You know, I'm hardly surprised. You see, we are living in times today where you have, you know, all kinds of rabble-rousers and people who are, you know, deliberately provocative for cheap political points, who are even trying to threaten that they'll de-recognize a party that's over 125 years old. Now, these are the times we live in, so you got to take it with a bit of, you know, pinch of salt. Crux of the matter, Rahul Gandhi was in fact in Kargil some time ago. And you know, you got a link to what he's saying. You know, end of day, the crucial point is that, you know, he talked about connecting Kargil with the rest of India, encouraging jobs, you know, talking about giving the youth a greater say in the empowerment and the democracy of the country, more opportunities. Now, let me go back to his statement as well. There's nothing to dodge here. He's hit the nail on the head. Rahul Gandhi has spoken the brass tacks, the real truth. When, for the limited time that the NDA government was in power for those 5 years, I thought that the Congress, as a leading opposition party, was playing the role of a constructive opposition party. I remember myself writing that, and I thought a lot of people who are supporters of the Congress were very critical that why isn't Congress taking to the streets and exposing the multiple failures of the NDA government. In fact, we were saying that you should hit the streets and get more vocal. And I thought the Congress played the role of a very, I would say, a sensible, you know, very well calibrated, constructive opposition.
But Sanjay, that is what is expected of an opposition when it comes to issues of national security. When the 26/11 Mumbai attack happened, LK Advani also similarly said, the BJP said officially, that we are going to stand by every decision that the government takes, because that is what you do. That is what the opposition expected to do when it comes to national security. But why rake it up in a political rally?
No, let me explain that. This is a way of mentioning that whenever there is a priority in front of the nation, obviously a war, a terrorist threat, any kind of, you know, security challenge, an internal disturbance, the country needs to come together. It can't be fighting, you know, like cats and other animals. The point that we need to mention is that today there is an economic challenge for India. You know, it is not war perhaps, but end of day, the common man gets affected if you don't take the right decisions. Now, let me tell you, this is a unique rally. For the first time in India's parliamentary history, you have a government and one of the principal, you know, partners in that coalition, the Congress, holding a rally to talk about issues that affect the common man. This was not the kind of rhetoric that you're hearing some leaders in Gujarat talking day in and day out. There is no personalized attack. No political party was named. But the crucial point was to say, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if India has to move forward, we need to grow the country on a higher GDP. We need to distribute that income properly. We need to remove corruption. There are multiple challenges and the country needs political consensus. And to be honest, it's not just the BJP as well. There are multiple parties at the moment which are actually attacking the government, principally the Congress, by saying that we will not support you in XYZ. You saw what happened with the railways? It was a joke. It was absolutely a joke. The railways, which actually carries the common man, and you had Mamata Banerjee who says that she stands for the common man, actually not even worried about the security of the trains, not even worried about how to improve the services, but playing to the gallery by saying, you know, don't increase the fare. I mean, it was a most preposterous level of argument. The same with FDI in retail. I keep hearing BJP spokespeople talk day in and day out, Meghna, on multiple channels. They sound so unconvincing. They sound deceptive. They are disingenuous in trying to mislead people on this phobia of the foreign fear.
But isn't it equally disingenuous to rake up the Kargil conflict when you're talking about FDI and retail to the people? Sanjay Raut of the Shiv Sena also joins us now. Sanjay Raut, what do you make of Rahul Gandhi's comment when he says that when the Kargil conflict happened, the Congress stood behind the NDA, but the same favor hasn't been returned when it came to FDI and retail?
See, there are two different issues, Kargil and FDI. Rahul Gandhi must know, in the interest of nation, he should speak on it. लेकिन मैं देख रहा हूँ राजीव गांधी इसका पॉलिटिकल इशू बना रहे हैं। कारगिल के बारे में पाकिस्तान ने हम पर आक्रमण किया था, राहुल गांधी भूल गए और कोई उत्तर नहीं किया। कांग्रेस ने या राहुल गांधी ने हमें सपोर्ट करी है। और एफडीआई के मामले में ये फॉरेन कंपनियां हिंदुस्तान को लूटने और बेचने आ रही है, तो हम उसको सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे। राहुल गांधी और उनका परिवार, कांग्रेस का परिवार जिस तरह से इस देश में डिक्टेटर्स को खत्म करके, किसानों को खत्म करके, फॉरेन कंपनियों को यहाँ अपने पैर जमाने के लिए मदद करे, उसको इस देश का कोई भी राष्ट्रवादी नेता या व्यक्ति उसको हेल्प नहीं करेंगी। कारगिल की बात अब ना निकाले तो अच्छा है। अगर बात कारगिल तक जाएगी तो कांग्रेस को भी बहुत हिट होगी।
Sanjay Raut, but when Rahul Gandhi, when a senior leader of the ruling dispensation makes such a comment, what is the message that we send out to the world? Doesn't it make it seem that the polity is fragmented even when it comes to crucial issues of national security?
This is issue of national security, but Rahul Gandhi अब बच्चा है और बच्चे से ज्यादा अभी पॉलिटिक्स में कच्चा है। इस तरह से सरकार को बात करते हैं, बार बार जिस प्रकार से उनकी बात होती है, मुझे लगता है कि अभी उनको राजनीति में बहुत कुछ सीखना है।
All right, does it speak of Rahul Gandhi's political immaturity talking about crucial issues like that when the brief was only to talk about the UPA's economic policy? Sanjay Rao, thank you very much for joining us. Defense analyst retired General Afsar Karim also joins us now. So what do you make of Rahul Gandhi's take on the Kargil issue vis-a-vis the FDI and retail push that the Congress is making right now?
Actually, hardly one can comment on it because Kargil war, because of external aggression, is not a matter of internal politics. If he wanted to say that they did not criticize the government for the shortcomings which came up notice after Kargil war or something like that, I'm not sure in what was his context, and I wouldn't like to comment on the political context of this matter.
But General Karim, isn't it exactly that, politicizing something that is so important for the country? It is ultimately about national security. When you drag politics into it, aren't you doing the country a disservice?
No, I don't think it will get politicized at all because Kargil is too big an affair, and I think we should leave it there.
All right, General Afsar Karim, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective as well. Deputy Editor Kartikeya Sharma also with us. Was this pre-decided, this linking of what was being discussed at the rally today at Ramlila Maidan and the Kargil war, or is it something that came impromptu and was ill-advised, Kartikeya?
You see, I think Rahul really got the context wrong, Padmaja. This was the complaint of the Congress party in UP1 when there were a lot of terrorist attacks and Shivraj Patil was then the Home Minister, and then pointedly Congress would say that we never politicized Kargil or any other issue directly related with national security, for example, attack on Red Fort or Parliament, but they do. But the way he rendered his speech, I would say it indicates that ultimately Congress president had to come and rescue the rally. You see, on this issue I'm joined by my political editor Javed Ansari. Javed, Padmaja was asking why national security dropping in suddenly in between the FDI issue, retail issue. How do you evaluate Rahul's speech in the perspective that Congress president's speech was very well marked, sharp and precise, PM stuck to the governance, and Rahul was way off the mark or was everywhere?
Look, Rahul, I don't think he was really prepared for this speech. If the idea was to invigorate and to boost the confidence, sagging morale of the Congress workers, then Rahul didn't do that job at all. It was left to the Congress president. She was far more combative. She rallied her troops. She exhorted them to take the battle to the opposition camp. And for somebody who's being touted as the next leader of the Congress party, Rahul, I failed to inspire the crowd. And you must have noticed there was hardly a ripple when Rahul finished his speech. This business, he said much the same thing that he said in his first, when he made his first formal speech in politics.
But wasn't it like deja vu, Javed, when you went to UP and covered Uttar Pradesh assembly elections? It just reminded me a bit of Azamgarh, a bit of Bareilly, a bit of Banaras, a bit of Agra.
Absolutely, it was much the same. There was nothing new in what Rahul said, and it's ironical. He says that we need to change the system, we need to open the doors, but he is one of the most inaccessible politicians. You ask any Congress worker here and they say that it's very difficult to meet him. So it's ironical coming from a man like him. I'm sure I guess the crowd, the Congress workers expected something more, something different than what they saw and what they got from Rahul Gandhi today.
But isn't it more ironical that the person who actually rules the rules, who's supposed to be number two, decides the government in terms of cabinet and who's going to be in party, says that we need to open the system. If you cannot open the system, then who else will open the system?
And what has he been doing for the last 8 or 9 years? That every time the Congress loses in an election, they say that we didn't have an organization. Well, they have been ruling the Congress. They are leading the Congress for several years. So who's to blame? If you haven't been able to turn the system around, Rahul Gandhi hasn't been able to make a difference in the last 8 or 9 years that he's been in politics. What leads us to believe that he'll make a difference next? He has no answers. You can't be a part of government and then position yourself as a rebel. It's high time Rahul realized that he needs to lead from the front.
I think Javed hit the nail. That's the crux of the matter. You can't be part of the system, lead it from the front, and then behave like the rebel. I think that was the crux. It's not about journalists evaluating him, but the people at large. And what we absorbed here was he actually did not enthuse the workers. The only clapping I saw was when Congress president was speaking. The crowd just didn't get into the mood with Rahul Gandhi, if I have to put it.
Well, if the crowds didn't give him a thumbs up, you can imagine what the opposition is saying right now. Kartikeya Javed, just stay on with us. We are also getting a reaction from senior BJP leader Balbir Punj. Let's listen in.
Methods. That was evident when they dealt with the followers of Baba Ramdev and indulged in vendetta politics. Has absolutely no right to call other people as if not believing in democracy. In fact, they have absolutely no right to lecture anyone about democracy.
एक आखिरी सवाल सर, इस रैली से कांग्रेस को क्या हासिल होगा?
इस रैली से कांग्रेस बिल्कुल बुरी तरह से एक्सपोज हो गई है। एफडीआई इन डिटेल के बारे में क्योंकि जनसमर्थन नहीं था, तो इसलिए जनता ने कोई उसके लिए प्रदर्शन समर्थन में नहीं किया है और सरकार को स्वयं अपना ढोल बजाना पड़ा और सरकार ने खुद प्रायोजित भीड़ इकट्ठी करके और अपनी वाई करने की कोशिश की और वो भी मुझे पता लगा है कि जनता में उत्साह का नितांत अभाव।
सर, एक सवाल और है कि बीजेपी का कला दिवस मना रही थी, लेकिन बीजेपी की जहां भी व्यापारियों का समर्थन था वहां भी भीड़ नहीं दिखाई दी।
नहीं, हम लोग तो केवल इतना कहना चाहते थे कि ये जो रैली हो रही है ये कोई जन समर्थन की रैली नहीं है और आज कोई दिल्ली में 14-15 जगह
Kargil card at the rally organized by the Congress to push FDI in retail at the Ram Leela Maidan, but in a surprise statement, he dragged in the Kargil war, talking about the role of the opposition Congress at that time in supporting the government. Listen in to that comment from Rahul Gandhi.
हम भी विपक्ष में थे, कारगिल की लड़ाई हुई, हम सब खड़े हो गए, समर्थन दिया, एक साथ खड़े हुए, वाजपेयी जी को कहा देखिए आप करिए जो करना है, हम खड़े हैं आपके साथ। देश का फायदा होता है, कांग्रेस पार्टी खड़ी होती है, चाहे हमारी सरकार हो ना हो।
Did they oblige the NDA by supporting us in Kargil? That's the duty of every patriotic citizen, to support country's armed forces and country's government at the time of a war. So that's not an obligation on NDA or in any you can say something very special about us.
I would like to go to hamaracongress.com's Sanjay Jha at this point. Sanjay, it's not just the opposition, it's not just the journalists on the spot, but even the people who were actually there at Ram Leela Maidan didn't seem too enthused about Rahul Gandhi, the points that he made. What does that do to his position in the party? Because this comes at a time when there is buzz that his elevation to number 2 in the party, a possible Secretary General or Deputy President is possible. But this is the statement he makes. What does that mean for him?
Honestly, Padmaja, let me tell you, I heard Rahul Gandhi's speech. He spoke like a leader, unlike some parochial, petty, populist leaders who are at the moment campaigning and trying to be pretenders to the throne in Gujarat and other parts of India. Let me tell you, it was an impassioned speech that addressed the core issues that are confronting the country. Rahul Gandhi was prepared. I heard one of your correspondents say that he did not invigorate the crowd. I'm sorry. I think that is perhaps his own perception. And this was a highly effective speech. It was meant to get people to think and to take attention of the core challenges facing the country.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sanjay Jha. Just for a second, I'll have to interrupt you. Arun Jaitley reacting now. Let's quickly listen in.
Term allocation, the coal block allocation, what's happening to several leaders of theirs facing such serious charges of corruption across their family members, their leaders in some of the election going states. The party itself is in gross default of in regard to the disclosures which have come out in the last few days. They just bypass all those issues of corruption and offer no solution. The Lokpal that they wanted was a weak Lokpal. We wanted to amend it in the Rajya Sabha and the numbers were on our side. They got the house adjourned. They just closed their eyes to this. As far as FDI in retail is concerned, FDI will reduce manufacturing jobs in India because foreign retailers source internationally, not so much domestically. FDI will displace retail jobs. And the benefit of middleman elimination goes to the retailer, not to the farmer. That's the experiment of the West. If that was not so, why would farmers in Europe and United States need to be subsidized so heavily by the government? Now, these rationalities are all ignored. And this rally is just being organized to advocate and further pursue whatever have been the anti-people policies of this government. वैसे तो किसी भी राजनीतिक कार्यक्रम को करने का हर दल को अधिकार होता है और हम उस पर टिप्पणी नहीं करते, लेकिन आज जो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने रैली की है, अगर उनके नेताओं के वक्तव्य और बयान देखें तो ये जनता के विरोध में की गई रैली है। सबसे प्रमुख समस्या बढ़ती हुई कीमतों की है, उसका कोई उत्तर नहीं है। डीजल का दाम बढ़ा दिया, आम आदमी पर और किसान पर बोझ डाल दिया, ये रैली के भाषण उसको जस्टिफाई करते हैं। एलपीजी की कीमतें बढ़ा दी, गृहिणियों पे बोझ बढ़ा दिया, ये रैली उसको जस्टिफाई करती है। भ्रष्टाचार के संबंध में कोई हल नहीं है। कोई खेद नहीं है कि ये इतिहास की सबसे भ्रष्ट सरकार थी। 2G स्पेक्ट्रम, कोयले का घोटाला, नेताओं के परिवारजन, इनके जिन राज्यों में चुनाव हो रहे हैं उन राज्यों के नेता, कांग्रेस पार्टी के खिलाफ जो स्वयं आरोप लगे हैं पिछले 3-4 दिन में, कोई उत्तर नहीं है। इसको बिल्कुल बाईपास कर दो और कहो भ्रष्टाचार नहीं है। जहां तक खुदरा व्यापार में विदेशी पूंजी का प्रश्न है, इस देश के मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में जो नौकरियां हैं वो कम होंगी, क्योंकि जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय रिटेलर आता है तो दुनिया के अन्य स्थानों से वो सोर्स करता है, डोमेस्टिकली नहीं करता।